parking here for some time,
I didn't see
probably.
that.
But no, they have a bunch of cop cars, and they say NYPD.
Oh, so it's some...
There's New York PD cop cars,
funny.
and then there's New York yellow cabs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all parked here in front of our building. Although,
how did I miss that? Huh.
although 4 of the cabs, they have 2 New York cabs, and then they have some Pittsburgh yellow cabs, which I suppose they'll have to reconfigure a little bit, or at least take the local advertising off the top.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, they have, and one of the New York PD police cars has Ohio plates.
Oh. Well, I suppose it depends on where they're shooting them. They may not be shooting the...
Right, but so it means they paint... I don't know, so whatever. So clearly, whatever movie this is...
it takes place in New York.
It takes place in New York. It's really been sort of interesting to watch.
Yeah, when you see... I've not
things
seen
go
the people
on,
talk
right?
about seeing these stars pop up in
No,
places.
I've never... Well, I bumped into Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ooh, literally?
Yeah. And embarrassingly and
Oh,
literally.
dear.
Yeah, I walked right into a
shoot?
shoot.
Oh, funny, because usually they have people
Well, they do, but it was right over here on the corner where that triangular building is, kind of,
Yes,
sort of. Yeah. And I'd gotten off the bus on Liberty and was attempting to access Smithfield, where
Yes.
I had to work.
Yes.
And a cop said, no, I said, but I just have to go right there. He said, I'm sorry, there's a movie, you're going to have to go around. And this idiot cop sent me around the little building. I came back around, and as I got back onto, what was that, 7th here?
Yes.
As I turned the corner from Liberty onto 7th, I walked right into... Jake Gyllenhaal and this big camera and a bunch of guys standing around, and they were shooting right on that corner.
Were shooting.
They were literally shooting on that corner. And so the cop had totally screwed it up. Told me, I mean, I would have been fine if I'd gone where I wanted to. And there I stood with my deer caught in the headlights. And the guy behind the camera said, it's okay. He said, just come on. And I was still, he said, it's okay, come on. I was literally in a state of shock. And Jake was just right there. And then I saw the scene later in the movie.
Oh, I see, okay.
And
did he say anything to you, like, hello, babe?
No, I think he sort of vaguely smiled. I was so freaked. But in the movie...
Too bad they didn't include it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Somehow. Local journalista.
In the movie, he's standing there, and Anne Hathaway walks across the street to join him or something. It's a very quick shot.
Anne Hathaway's mother.
And then, and I did see her then as I walked away, and I looked over, and my God, she looked like she weighed 17 pounds.
Oh, yeah, she seems
Oh, my God, was she skinny.
Or maybe that's when she was losing weight to play that character in Les Miserables.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know if she was that thin, but she was thin. So I don't know what movie this is out there, but
but
check
it
out. It's
He's
New York.
in town again.
Who?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh.
For whatever this movie. They just said something the other day.
Oh, that's right.
And they were lamenting the fact that because the state legislation didn't change, the 2 movies now, and I think 1 in the fall or something like that, will be the last for the year because all the
money is
they
gone.
only okayed $25 million worth of tax rebates or something.
Whatever.
And so, of course, if they don't get the tax rebates, as much as Pittsburgh can look like New York or whatever, they're not going to pay those money. Because I remember when I was at the museum, they were filming that show Queer as Folk, the gay show that was supposedly took place in Pittsburgh. Right. And so we tried to, get them to come and do an event at the museum, etc. And I remember it didn't work out, but I remember speaking with someone on the production staff, and they said, "Oh, we tried to film it in Pittsburgh, but they filmed it in Toronto, and they saved $500,000 a day. I mean, that's a lot of money.
In Toronto.
Yeah, Canada, by shooting there rather than someplace in the United States. $500,000.
That's a lot of money.
And that one ran for 5 or 6 seasons, so that's a lot of shekels.
Wow. Well, the only reason they do shoot here is because we have been pretty generous, right? The state has.
Well, only after a certain point, because I remember at the very beginning, and this was maybe 8, 9 years ago, they had a hard time convincing, I'm not sure, was it Ridge at that time? Maybe. And someone who was a Pittsburgh native but had been a big producer in Hollywood for a good number of years flew over. That's when they first started that Pittsburgh, whatever they called it, production of Carl Kurlander. And they sent
Steeltown
Media, right. Yeah. And this guy came in and said, Mr. Governor, you're not going to get this unless you give the tax rebates. And then they did, and then the film started coming. And the city, as they've said, has the advantage that it has the Victoriana, it has enough
It has
it has a lot of verdant meadows surrounding.
It has anything you could want.
So you can be West Virginia or, what have you.
They sure do like Smithfield Street, though, because...
Well, I guess it looks maybe the most like Manhattan or something with the skyscrapers, I guess.
Well, I don't know, but this is the street that they used in the Dark Knight.
Why no? I thought they used that.
No, that's where they went up and down Smithfield a million times, and it was sort of funny because you could tell the edits didn't make sense. Hello.
Hi, Lynn. It's Beth. I heard you talking about the film tax credit, and I had to call in.
Okay, I know you know about this stuff.
No, a little. First of all, just to let you know how important film tax credits are these days, there's more product being shot in Louisiana than there is in all of California right now.
Wow.
Whoa.
Because Louisiana and Georgia really have the largest incentives. And Tom was absolutely correct. These will be the last films coming in because what had happened and it was actually Rendell that started the incentive in 2007. Before it used to be a rolling thing, so you could go into next year's money. Because when they put the application in that we want to film in Pennsylvania, it could take a couple months to almost a year before that project actually comes in. And since they don't have the rolling credits anymore going into next year's money, they can only approve what's already been approved. So you could have a project that, has kind of submitted to the state for this year, but it's not going to start filming till next year, but it holds that money, so no new project that's ready to go can come in.
Oh, I see.
Well, that doesn't
seem... And it's really a problem, and the problem is that you have someone in the state that doesn't know anything about the film industry. And because Rendell had it under the state film office, and under Corbett, it's under the economic and community development grouping. Yeah. But it brings lots of money. I mean, it's definitely... I've worked in 9 incentive states, and New York City is a big one as well now, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's really a trickle-up, economic generator, unlike other businesses.
Sure.
When you say it's a trickle-up economic generator, explain.
Because what happens is, granted, yes, corporations are getting huge incentives, yes. But the thing is, when a film comes in, and let's just say, for example, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, my guess is it's probably about 50 to 60 million would be my guess. Half of that, or at least I would say 30 million of that, is staying right in southwestern Pennsylvania. So it's not just rental cars and hotel rooms, but you're also looking at framing shops. You're looking at restaurants, bars. You're looking at steel fabrication companies. So, you have a bulk of that money that's now getting instantly generated into the local economy.
Well, so why is the Corbett administration handling this differently, do you think?
I think probably part of the problem is it's his own party with holding the Senate and within the House. They're very much... every year it's pulling teeth with the Republicans on both sides, getting them to fund a tax credit.
But I thought they were for job creation
exactly.
and tax, I would think they'd like this kind of...
Well, you can't...
One would think. But the weird thing is, too, the Commonwealth Foundation, which, is all in favor of that, give the business credit,
sure.
They've come out against it.
Yeah.
And and it's really funny. I mean, it's against everything that really they support and are in favor for.
Sure.
And the biggest thing is it's providing jobs to now there's a pretty substantial local crew base.
Yeah.
And you're getting a very decent wage for the work being done.
And it also adds to the whole media spin that the city has been, generating the last 3 years.
It does, doesn't it? It helps.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Tom.
I said it, it adds also to the whole media spin of most livable city you should visit, the hidden city, that's the city of tomorrow. Seeing
oh, yeah, well, I mean, it is because, I hate to say it, when you come down to it, the labor rates for Pittsburgh's union is a little cheaper than that in Philadelphia. So, of course, producers love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But it's also the fact that they can duplicate anything here.
Right.
Other than mountains and oceans.
We got
And
it.
even right now, you figure with the way technology is within films, that could even be doubled in these
Sure,
days.
right.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So,
Well, it's
but I just want to
amazing.
say thank you for bringing it up. Hopefully, it continues to be supported. It really is a great thing for the region.
Without
Yeah,
a
no,
doubt.
great.
Hey, thank you, Beth.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Yeah. Well, I just think it's exciting.
Well, it's funny. It reminds me when I lived in New York City, I lived right on Washington Square.
Oh.
And I bet you at least once a week, something, whether it was a fashion shoot or television, was shooting on the square.
Oh,
and that was sort of neat.
it is.
And there you'd see all these people, Although New Yorkers are far more pugnacious. So like,
Right.
you walking through, they forget about it, I'm going through,
I bet.
Oh.
So, all right. Let's
So what
see.
you got today, Miss
Well, a
Thing?
little of this and a little of that. First of all, we were talking yesterday about the fact that there doesn't seem to be proofreaders anymore. That as you read a newspaper, and specifically I think the caller was talking about the Post-Gazette, that it's just unbelievable, mistakes, words, things repeated, blah, 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 and I really don't think that they have. They don't have the staff.
It's funny. I just had a friend who's spending the summer in Italy, as he always does, an academic who's publishing a book through Cambridge. And he is sort of big academic, very prestigious press. It's a very scholarly book. And he talks about the fact, I said, how's the editing going? Well, I have this editor from Bollywood. And I guess Cambridge and Oxford Press and a few others are all doing their editing.
They're
in
shipping it
Bangalore.
into India. Oh
So
my
he
God!
has these phone calls with this person who calls himself Charlie Sheehan, but has a very thick Indian accent. But so my friend says, "Well, I don't know about that word in Bollywood English, but it's not in real English."
Oh my gosh!
It's very funny.
Well, how odd! He
so
thought
it
he'd
goes
have
the
some.
whole gamut from scholarly books to the Post
Okay,
Gazette.
well, there's a doozy in the Post-Gazette today. That's
Oh,
why
show us.
a front page.
Oh my, heads will roll.
There's no heads over there anymore. Front page under the headline. And I did a double take when I said, I don't want you making any improper jokes either when I draw our attention.
Oh dear, there must be,
Oh,
there must
look
be a
at-
doozy.
oh, the look of-
I'm starting to tingle.
Here it is.
Okay.
The headline, ladies and gentlemen. Obama, secure Texas border is key. Under that, it says, but he wants passionate treatment of migrating Central American children. He
Low
wants
lights,
What?
rose blossoms, and
What?
massage oil. Oh,
He
dear.
wants passionate treatment. The president says he wants those children treated passionately.
Oh dear, that really is.
Unbelievable. I mean,
that
well, there it is. Surely this got some notice over there, I hope. Mm-hmm. The president wants passionate treatment of these little children. You know, maybe they...
I mean, it's so prominent.
You know,
it's like a sub-headline.
I know, but I'm thinking, couldn't they fit calm, passionate? I mean, that's obviously
still, it's the
word.
Wrong word.
They couldn't do 3 letters, fit them in there?
Well, you could have gotten the butt off.
You could have had the butt off, or you could have said instead of migrating, fleeing, or you would leave it out altogether. So no, but somebody let that go.
Well, it's very funny. I called in because when they did a. It was someone who appeared in the original production of. When Ruby Dee died. They had a picture from the original cast of Raising the Sun. And they said, Ruby Dee. And I looked at it, I said, that was not Ruby Dee.
That's not right.
That was
I saw it too.
Claudia McNeil.
I saw it too.
So I called in to a friend who writes, and she said, called me back a few days later, and she said, they had 360 calls on that one. So I'm sure that will get a lot of calls.
Oh, man. No, but I saw that too, and I thought the same thing. I mean, how many people looked at that and said, that's not Ruby Dee?
Yeah, right.
But so you wonder who's. It's just constant. It's constant. I mean,
well, the thing is, even in the Times, you find.
Oh yeah.
It's rarely. It's really shocking when it does, but yeah. Well, cutbacks.
I'm trying not to sneeze.
Oh, please don't.
Oh boy, I'm trying. Apply pressure.
Oh.
Don't you think?
I don't know. I've never.
You push up on your septum.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll have to remember that.
Push up on your septum. That's what I'm doing. But every time I let go, the sneeze, it comes right back. It comes right back. I might have driven it back.
Oh dear, that's not healthy.
Okay, you think not? Repressing a sneeze?
I'm just chatting away.
Okay. So what else? It's so.
Well, now the Koch brothers will say that the president is a child molester since he wants passionate treatment.
Unbelievable.
Oh, dear.
I suppose I should do one a day. I mean, because...
Oh, you think you found that many, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Oh, easily.
Well, that is shameful. Shameful. Well, I think, part of it is...
Well, my sister was saying yesterday they use spell check.
Well, exactly. And so therefore people think, and we know it's spell check when there are, duplicate words or things like that. Like passionate, compassionate, they're both proper words.
Right. So you think, but if somebody's doing COP, I don't see how spell check did that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true, right. But then they do have human beings supposedly proofreading, so.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I mean, I guess that would be an editor. I mean,
know.
That's an editor now.
No. They must, I think they have.
I do not
think. If a member of the paper press is listening, call us and tell us if there's still.
Do proofreaders still
exist? Do proofreaders still exist?
Oh, and here's something else. Is it just me, or does it seem that every other week or so, I'm treated to a picture in the local paper and other papers?
Yes, they do have pictures, Lynn Cullen.
of some kind of absolute nonsense going on in Spain involving absurd behavior, and that it's always
they do have this summer,
and that it's always part of some festival. Yes.
There's this other one where they throw
tomatoes at each other.
Yes.
I think the tomato thing, the bulls. There's something in here today about bulls. It's not the running of. This is
Pamplona, usually.
This is called an event known as Vaquilla. It's part of the San Fermin Festival in Pamplona. And here, men, they lie down and let bulls jump, run over them. What is it with these people? I'm just sorry. I've never been to Spain.
And every year there was something recently. People get gored every time. Some of them die from this. It's so silly.
They get gored.
Well, here's an art historical reference. Even in ancient Crete, they have pictures on some of the ceramics there of people leaping over the bulls. So that goes back to antiquity.
So there's sort of... It's a macho display of taking on
this stupid macho display.
Well, most macho displays are stupid.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Redundancy there.
All right. Okay. I think we should take a short break.
We're going to go down to Smithfield and leap over a bull.
Or see if we can have our picture taken next to a NYPD cop car.
Yes, with Ohio plates.
With Ohio plates. Maybe. I did see somebody taking a picture. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Cullen Live.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual City Guide magazine is available now. Pick up one for a special look at the unique neighborhoods of Pittsburgh, plus the most complete guides of restaurants, bars, nightlife, festivals, exhibits, entertainment, and culture in the burg. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Lynn Cullen along with Tom Sokolowski, and we're just shooting the breeze. This annoyed me, this article. Did you see this?
I haven't really got
Chelsea
the papers this
Clinton.
morning. What about her?
She's now on the giving speeches.
How much does she get? The
That's
parents get huge, $1 million.
Huge, well, almost millions.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not almost.
I guess
Clinton
maybe
has gotten
Clinton.
Yeah.
But,
So.
They regularly are scarfing up hundreds of
figures,
thousands. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Chelsea Clinton is now out there on the speaking circuit, and she gets $75,000 for a
What,
speech.
may I ask, is her expertise? I mean, I know she's an educated woman and all that, but
it is because
she's the daughter,
royalty.
the spawn,
the spawn.
the golden-haired spawn. Will now
She's
speak.
royalty, and she already has a job, as you know, as a correspondent at NBC News.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you know how much, and she's bad at it. And
I've
you
never
know,
seen her.
Well, I did once, and maybe I shouldn't judge on one. But
I've seen
man,
one of the
it
Bush
was
daughters
bad.
too.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
some of the
Well,
Today
that's what
Show.
happens now. So now, if you're look at even. What the hell is Mia Farrow's son all of a sudden up front and center at Ronan? Ronan Farrow. Yeah.
Or is he on TV?
He's on TV now.
Okay. CNN or some one of the bigger.
Yes. And that's all they're doing now. All they do is hire it. When you think of all the talent that's probably out there, the sharp people, the people that could maybe slowly reclaim journalism, and they can't get their foot in the door because it's now this totally elitist
It's your veneer.
enterprise, huh?
Your veneer.
Total. And I would think I guess they're beyond. Wouldn't Chelsea Clinton be almost embarrassed to be? She is smart. She is capable. Why wouldn't she say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, all your friends, I want to do it on my own"?
Well, but I believe it's in the genes. I mean, if the parents obviously both like the limelight.
Listen to this.
Some of that has obviously gone into her.
Ms. Clinton's speeches focus on causes like eradicating waterborne diseases. One of her favorite lines is, "I'm obsessed with diarrhea."
That was almost a Chris Potter laugh as I did it. That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm obsessed with diarrhea when I have it. But I mean, what expertise does she have to sort of talk?
Well, maybe she's had diarrhea.
Yeah, but she's not an epidemiologist. I'm sure she's not shit over a log many times in her life. Although she's from Tennessee, so maybe she has.
Arkansas.
But, same thing.
I don't know.
But how ridiculous. If I was sitting in that audience, probably having paid $65 to hear her, because that's how I guess she gets paid so much money, and she said that, I think I would scream.
Well,
I'm obsessed with diarrhea. That was
it says right here, "I'm obsessed with diarrhea" is a favorite line.
Well, of course, it gets a laugh, I'm sure. I mean, who couldn't it? But, I mean, at least Princess Diana would go and stick her hands in it when she was with African children or people with AIDS and that. But this one,
she didn't just
she was born with a portisane in her back pocket.
And then here it also says that she dispenses lessons picked up from her family. Okay, now. Okay, just
passionate treatment of
treat your interns very well. Okay, so here's one. Listen to this.
Okay.
Life's not about what happens to you. It's about what you do with what happens to you.
Irma Bombeck.
No, Irma Bombeck's better than that. She gets a laugh.
Well, that's true, too.
But, I mean,
but
this
it sounds like Irma Bombeck.
No. It just sounds like some stupid... Yeah, right. Life's not about what happens to you. It's about what you do and what happens to you.
She probably went to one of these sweetie colleges, like Amherst or something. I will get calls from alumni. But that's what you write in yearbooks at the end of the year. Dear Betty Sue Bopkin, life is not...
I think she went to Stanford.
Oh, well, all right, give her that. Yeah, I think she did, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I'm sure she's extremely bright. But it doesn't mean she's a great speaker.
No.
It doesn't mean can just walk into the highest level of broadcasting and all of a sudden be a correspondent.
Right.
It's too bad.
But probably like that Bush girl that's on the
Today Show or something.
She always gets these things like
little light stuff.
Three-legged dogs.
Yeah, well, that's what I saw Chelsea doing. She was doing some kind of like
that sort of thing?
Lighter feature. Now, those are the kind of stories I used to get as well because I used to be able to have... But she was never
molested by a porpoise.
That is true, but I got to have fun with them. I did. You can do a story like that and do it right.
Exactly.
Oh, God, they're just awful.
Well, and she's doing it for the money, too. I mean, my God, $75,000.
Although they say that all the money from her speaking engagements are going to the
charity,
their charity.
Well, that's good. Well, that's what Hillary supposedly has done, too.
And apparently Richard Mellon Scaife has done a lot of giving
Lectures?
To... No.
Oh, that's right. He
gave to the Clinton Foundation.
That's right.
Yeah, he fell in love with the Clintons after a bit.
That's right, because he took out after her, and then wasn't she the one who quoted that thing about the vast conservative?
Yeah, the vast right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah, right.
She's talking about him.
Right.
So in all this stuff about his death, did you see anything about when he'd be buried or where he's buried? No, it's not a thing.
And someone told me, who seemed to be someone to know, they thought he probably would be
cremated.
Cremated, yes, but other than that. But the funeral, well, no, not funeral, because they'll cremate him. Even the memorial is going to be by invitation only.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you think you'll get one?
No.
No.
I remember the only time I spoke with, I had been here about, what was it? 2 months. So, I mean, I knew his name, and I knew his name in New York, and there was a party for, at that time, the outgoing director of the Museum of Art, Philip Johnston, and I was invited. And I didn't really know that many. It was like trustee types and all that. And he was there with the second Mrs. Scaife.
Richie.
I'm not sure if that. No, she was either the second Mrs. Scaife or about to be the second Mrs. Scaife.
Richie.
Whatever. Richie, yes. And so anyway, I was introduced to him. And the first thing he said to me was, "What do you think of that article about you in the Village Voice?" Because when I left New York, this other fellow, colleague named Bill Arning, who is now the director of the Contemporary Art Museum in Houston, we had both come to New York at about the same time in the early 80s. We're known as openly gay people and activists in our art thing, etc. And this piece was nice about both, and both of us were left. He was going to Boston, I think, and I was coming here. And it talked about that, and I said, "Oh, I thought it was a really good, perceptive, and accurate article." And he said to me, "I didn't like it at all." And I said, "Well, Mr. Scaife, that's why there's horse races."
Yeah.
And at that, he sort of turned around. And then she came up. And my first thought was, oh, my God, I can deal with this one. Because she was Southern, and I had lived in Norfolk, Virginia for 3.5 years. And I remember she had one of those bracelets like you often see on young African-American girls with their names, like with diamonds in them that say Susie Q or something. But hers was Richie. But of course, her diamonds.
Oh man, can you imagine?
But she was all Southern, but I thought, I
Richie in diamonds.
Well, I'm sure she's diamonds and emeralds and whatever. But I thought, I know this type of Southern woman. So we chatted away. But that was the first time I met them, and the only time I met him.
I'm trying to remember what the deal is that she got when she separated from him.
It was a big chunk of money.
It was so huge in terms of a weekly stipend.
Yeah.
I'm remembering $75,000 a week.
Something. It was
about that, or was it even bigger?
I don't
It
remember.
wasn't $750,000 a week, was it?
But it was.
It was 75.
I could deal with $75,000 a week.
I think it was. That was just for her.
Papa needs a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, that's just for her upkeep or something, and that wasn't. I mean, she got more than that.
Well, Ira, do you remember the piece that ran? I can remember the year before the finality of the divorce, in the Vanity Fair.
Oh,
it was wild.
Vaguely.
And what I remember about it was he, at first, wasn't to talk to the person writing it, but then finally someone said, "Oh, you should." And he came across, rather sober about, well, I really don't speak about such things and whatever. And she just came across like the biggest gold digger and
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
well.
Sic transit gloria mundi. Or perhaps, as some might say, in his case, sic semper tyrannis.
Okay, so what's the what?
Well, that's from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Thus to all
tyrants. Yeah. Oh man. Well, all right. Speaking of art, a little bit. They've reevaluated all the art that's in the Detroit Museum.
I didn't read that. No, I didn't read it. What's the number now?
Do you remember what the last number was?
It was like 70. No. It was only millions. It wasn't billions.
Yeah, it was surprisingly low.
I thought it was surprisingly low. What's it now?
Okay, a new expert appraisal of the Detroit Institute of Art collection says that it is worth between 2.7 and 4.6 billion.
That even seems low to me.
That seems low.
Well, you think of some of the. Well, no, maybe I'm wrong.
They're talking about what you can get.
No, I know that. No. Of course, what you can
if
get.
You sell it.
No, of course, not about the quality, etc. No, I was going to say no, but I guess I'm wrong because when you think about it, the amounts for the prices that have gone for old master paintings, and that's where most of their money is, not in contemporary art.
No.
There have been, really, really major names. Like I think a Raphael drawing recently went for a few $1 million. That's Raphael, who didn't do that many drawings. But those big numbers, like 100 million and that's all Warhol and de Kooning and that sort of thing. And that's not their strong suit. So it could perhaps be that 4.6 does sound about right.
Well, the appraiser was Art Vest Partners, an art investment firm from New York. And they said that because of certain factors, such as donor lawsuits that would delay or prevent the sale, weakness in the market for some kinds of these paintings, lower sale prices because of the sheer bulk that would flood the market if this museum dropped it all at once. It said that despite the worth might, what you'll get for this collection that might be worth as much as $5 billion is maybe $850 million.
Well, it could be with all those. Except I would say, my God, if you're going to do it, even though a lot of these people want everything liquidated immediately, so
just
they
dole
get
it
their pensions.
out,
But to say, hey, if we can do it over 5 years, it's because between 850 million and 4.6 billion is a big parabola. Well, it's interesting because the last that you and maybe some of the listeners have heard was that both local foundations had given money to sort of be in lieu of selling the art. And then a couple of major foundations nationally. I think the Crest Foundation, I can't remember, but a couple.
Chipped in and they raised about 800 mil.
Something like that.
Right.
But I guess now, if they're going to say it's more, the creditors are going to say, well, we want...
Right, so this is, I mean,
it's akin to the same thing here with the dollars and cents vis-a-vis the August Wilson Center. Because the ante has gone up because, in addition to the money that you may have read that the two foundations had put up, which was for, who was it now? Was it the URA? I think the URA threw in $2 million more, 2.5. So they're at like 6.5, but that's still against the 9.2 or whatever the number is that the New York-based developer who wants to put the hotel on top of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
well, all right, Margaret, I'm really sorry. Margaret,
yes,
says you didn't talk about baseball. I did yesterday.
Okay,
I mentioned it.
Why should you talk about it?
Well, because the Pirates are. Well, as of yesterday or the day before. No, it wasn't yesterday. A few days ago.
They're not playing terribly
They were
well.
doing well. They were doing well. They pulled. They were in second place. They were maybe, but yeah.
Okay.
And
not as well as last year.
And then she says, "No, they're okay." She said, "You didn't talk about baseball. Now look what happened." So they were doing really well.
Oh, and they lost.
They were here for a number of games.
Yes.
And 10 games, and they won 8 of them.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then they flew off to St. Louis, where they have lost 3 in a row in the most horrible way. I mean, because they keep losing in the 9th. They keep.
Oh dear, that is.
I don't know about last. I didn't. It's my. Yeah.
But really, I have to say, now you know my view of sports, particularly baseball. But we're in the midst of the World FIFA Cup. I mean, that's what people should be talking about. Oh,
Who
stop
cares?
it. It's so exciting.
Oh.
I don't watch it, but I love it.
All right, so the finals are determined
people
now.
Are biting one another.
Okay, so the final is Argentina and Germany.
Yes.
Probably
half the team members in Argentina
Nazis.
From Germany.
Yeah,
right.
they're from the spawn of former SS.
Yes, right.
Yeah, right. Well, you know,
and all the Brazilians were bereft because they lost to the Argentines.
Fine. You know, I'm sorry, my sense is screw them all.
Oh, I think this World Cup thing is exciting.
Oh, all of a sudden.
No, I've always liked
Mr.
soccer.
Anti-sport.
No, not anti-all
because
sports.
It's European.
No. Because I told you this once before. It's because it's always they run back and forth and look.
And they do that in hockey too.
Or in hockey,
and they do.
Yes.
All right,
and
are you a hockey fan? And they do it in basketball too.
Football and baseball, it's all that waiting and all those coaches giving those numbers.
Well, I agree.
You know when they give those.
No, they don't do.
signals.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah. And this is it too. They go out to speak to the guy on the mound.
Oh, right. And then they spit. I'm scared. Then they kick dirt at the umpire, don't they? That's
no, you can't kick at the umpire because you would be in big trouble. Yeah.
Yes. No, but I think the World Cup thing is interesting because it is sort of like the Olympics. It's worldwide.
Well, because it's worldwide and because it's every 4 years, so they don't.
Yeah. And what's interesting about it is it does, even more so than the Olympics, because the Olympics, you pretty much know that the U.S., the Russians, the Chinese, given Winter or Summer Olympics, are going to dominate. But here you can have, Uruguay can have a winning team against, Germany or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And the teams, probably more than any other sport, and since I'm such an expert on this, a pan-sportif, probably have the most diverse players on these teams. I mean, African,
right? Who are regularly jeered with racist.
That happens here too. But
no, it doesn't.
There have been
nowhere
instances.
near as much.
Well, no. True. All right,
doesn't.
fair enough. But also, one of the things I think you have in soccer too is so many like German players playing in America, American players playing in Japan, etc. So it is really a sort of international field.
If you look at Baseball has
A few
people.
Japanese and some Colombians.
Hockey.
But
all
Canadian,
over the world.
And Russians, that's true.
Eastern Europeans. And football's pretty much Americans. But, yeah, NBA's got people from around the world.
They do?
Now? Oh, yeah. I mean, and have for some time.
A tall Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then the people like
or short Japanese playing baseball.
there's an incredible player. He must be old now. Akeem Olajuwon, African.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But there's a lot of them. Seriously.
Okay.
Okay. So I think it's time for a break. You know, the Emmy nominations came out. Do you care about that? You watch more TV than I do.
Yeah. Oh, well,
yeah, but you watch trash TV. So
no, when I watch there's things like Game of Thrones, which got the most.
It did. And
nominations.
Yeah. Yeah, Game of Thrones, but I'm sure it's been getting the most nominations for some time.
Who was that? You were going to
HBO.
You're going to berate me about my elitism in sport. But what about you? You're just the Masterpiece Theater queen.
No, I just don't watch much of anything.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair enough.
I did watch Breaking Bad, and I watched The Wire, and I did both because my son insisted I do, and I'm glad that I did.
Well, people, I didn't see either of those series. I suppose I should
They're
watch
amazing.
them. I've been told, yeah.
Well, and I think The Wire more so than Breaking Bad.
No.
Because Breaking Bad.
That was one about the guy who was the drug.
The meth cook. Yeah.
Cook. Yeah.
I thought The Wire is almost like a documentary.
Oh, uh-huh.
It's almost like
it's about dirty cops.
It's almost like it's about a lot of things about what happens in an urban America when an urban center is sort of coming apart and you have corrupted institutions. And I think it was like a documentary. So it focused not just on it focused on the impact on the poor. And it focused on the school system, and it focused on the cops, and it focused on the politicians, and the corruption there, and it focused on this was set in Baltimore, so on the wharves, and really the docks, each season with a different kind of a focus, but all of it melding together. And I got to tell you. The overall, it is such an indictment of America and our apparent inability to
control these things.
To control
because everyone's on the take.
Anything. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
But it's so well done, and the fact that it was put into play, the guy behind it was a former reporter for the Baltimore Sun.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, he really was coming from a journalistic...
Now, was it on one of the networks, or was it HBO or one of those things?
I don't know where The Wire first appeared. I don't know. I'm blanking, because I saw it on
demand or one of those things.
I didn't see it originally. Incredible, though. Incredible. So the biggie, is and Game of Thrones. I have to admit, I have not gotten into. I every once in a while look up when my son has watched it, and I can tell it's very good. It's very,
quite good.
Very gory.
Yeah, it's very good.
Very well written.
Yeah.
But I just don't know.
There was a funny thing yesterday that the man who's writing the novels, KK something or other, who lives in Las Vegas, I think, or somewhere in Santa Fe, I think. He's old, or later 70s, I think, maybe even 80s. But anyway, he writes very slowly because he writes on like one of the original computers ever or something. But anyway, and he travels a lot for publicity, and now he's been involved in editing for the TV shows. But people have been saying, finish the books, finish the books. His response was, fuck you, I'll write them as quickly as I want.
Okay, well, if you haven't seen all this, I have to take a break.
Very good.
I think. I do. We will.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual City Guide magazine is available now. Pick up one for a special look at the unique neighborhoods of Pittsburgh, plus the most complete guides of restaurants, bars, nightlife, festivals, exhibits, entertainment, and culture in the burg. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to talk about the Urban Gardener. I got to talk about the Urban Gardener.
Oh, yes, please do.
The Urban Gardener. I have a soft spot for this place. Have you ever been there?
I actually drove past because it's right near the Breadworks. You know, I think that's the one.
Are we on
go up to
Brighton Road?
Yeah, that's where Breadworks, you know, they mix all that wonderful bread, has their distribution. And you can go every day of the week and buy the wonderful breads they make.
Oh, I didn't know that was
literally right across, almost right across from it.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, man, go get your flowers and get your bread. The Urban Gardener, 1901 Brighton Road. And I got to tell you, it's just you see how it's so contained.
Yeah, it's very small. Yeah.
It's very small. And yet, somehow, it's got everything you need and stuff you didn't even know you need and a lot of stuff you want. God knows. And it also has something that a lot of other places don't, true expertise. So that when you're asking, would this grow in, I mean, it's mostly shady, but I don't know. You know, if you go to one of those big, they don't know.
Right, exactly.
You got a bunch
high
of
school
people.
Dropout.
Yeah, I know, whatever. I mean,
telling you about hydrangeas.
These people know. They'll say you'll do really well with that. Let me show you some other things that might, and these go well together, and yada, yada, yada. And so you can actually get yourself educated a bit. Also, I then, every time I think of educated, I think their website. Incredible website. If you give them your email, you're going to be on the receiving end of so much information on a pretty regular basis. So hook up either online or by trotting over there to urbangardenerpgh.com. And if you go and if you buy, please remember to drop my name because there's some money in it for you. True.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. They're more efficient than the old bulbs, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. And they cut down on our energy costs. Because in our own groundbreaking age, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
I know I felt like that for a while.
Any of you interested in any of this stuff?
No,
you know,
I'll
the
be in
thing
the
is,
paper tomorrow.
it's the same old stuff.
Shows, yeah.
I mean, is the Big Bang Theory that good that it has to get the
I've
every
watched it
year?
a couple of times,
I don't get
and
it.
I just think it's silly.
Stupid.
I mean, there are some funny lines in it.
I don't get it.
But
so anyway, in Best Comedy Series, Orange is the New Black is in there, and that's a Netflix production, which makes it sort of interesting. And HBO has two. HBO is the big.
Yeah, right.
They're the ones who are obviously putting
what
out the
everyone's
quality.
been saying interesting in the last few years. All these
The networks ain't doing it.
Yeah, exactly. No.
So Silicon Valley, I never even heard of that.
It's again sort of about geeks and
so
making their way into the corporate
Well,
world.
Best Drama Series. Now, I've seen most of these. Okay, Breaking Bad, yes. Downton Abbey, yes, I've seen. Game of Thrones, I've looked at. House of Cards, I tried and did not like, frankly. Mad Men, I'm very ambivalent about. And True Detective, which I liked. Up until
House
the
of
end.
Cards, I would say spend the time and watch the British one. The British one is fabulous.
There was a British
that was the
one
first one, yes.
Yeah,
oh,
so it's a rip-off of a
so
British.
fabulous.
Okay, the reason I didn't, first of all, I feel like I traffic in
corrupt Southern politicians.
Corrupt American politics.
In North Carolina or something.
Well, no,
right.
I mean, like we're always talking about it. And I don't want, I mean, for entertainment, I can't think of anything I'd rather do less than go back right into that disgusting swamp.
Swill of a swamp.
Yeah. So I can't. I won't do it. I won't do it. And you can't make me. All right, now miniseries. God, I don't know any of the American Horror Story.
Oh, I've seen one
Coven.
of those. Oh, it's quite violent.
Then Bonnie and
bloody.
Clyde. They made into
Bonnie
a
and Clyde.
series.
I didn't see that.
It wasn't that great, says Jess. Then Fargo, which I've been told is great. I bet that one wins because it's gotten a lot of critical acclaim.
I think now, Jess, you may know, was some of the people who were in the original movie also in the?
No, they're not. No, totally standalone. Then there's one that Jess got me looking at. This is from BBC, Luther, and it stars Idris Elba, this big, beautiful black man who also had a major role in The Wire.
Oh, okay.
And there were so many people in The Wire that were British actors, and whenever I found out they were British, I was so stunned.
Well, they're so good at accents.
They're so good at not
and
being...
we're so dreadful at accents.
Do you think, are we
You know
really?
who else are wonderful are Australians.
They can just lose their...
Because there's a bunch of people on that show that I love, True Blood, and they have such wonderful accents, and you read, he's Australian,
So you know that's not the way they really
and because
talk.
a real Australian accent, particularly a sort of Yunzer kind, is so wide and ugly, and yet they can just pick up a British accent, an American accent.
Well, I'm sick of all these same names. I'm sorry. Can't get into it.
Well, what's interesting also, the fact is, do we have, especially in American acting, that many good actors? I mean, that's to me why. Well, no. But I'm talking about one of the things like Downton Abbey and that, and I'm not, one of these prissy, masterpiece theater people. But you could go on a show like that and get down to like who plays the third maid and that, and there's such good character actors. That's not true in American movies or TV at all.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think...
The only place I would say is that whole ref of the aggregate Law and Order, those shows, use usually some of the best New York-based character
But there are
actors.
I think there's so much talent. I think there's so much talent.
You don't see it in the TV shows.
Well, then
I think that's why you see the same
And then
names,
maybe they're
because-
hiring people in the same manner that, Chelsea Clinton got hired. People
Well, but
who
then
know
that,
people.
to my point about British versus American, over there they're hiring really quality things, even for some simple programs.
So it's an actual meritocracy.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's a class system.
Well, because I think probably,
we traded places.
Well, no, I think the thought might be that, here, some of these big schools, I mean, I don't know about places sort of slightly less down, Point Park College, etc., they're training you to be a star, whereas maybe in Britain they're training you to be an actor, which is a very different thing.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to learn your craft, and if you're playing the second butler, you can still have your moments.
Well, you don't think, like, if you go, CMU being one of the best
Well,
drama
sure,
schools,
sure,
you
sure,
think
sure.
they're not training people to be actors?
No, well, then when you think of some of the people who have come out of like Broderick Crawford, who's not a leading man, but as, a major. I mean, he was there early on. I think Broderick Crawford is from, someone like that.
Carnegie.
Well,
Jack.
back, I think it was class of 31 or something.
Well, so is like, who's that guy? A lot of guys who weren't beautiful, who weren't stars, but who are just strong actors. Klugman. Is that
Jack
who you're thinking of?
Klugman.
Jack
No.
Klugman was also one.
Yeah, I think I'd read that, yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, God. What are we going to get into here? This has been a show about nothing in particular, hasn't it?
Well, but we had fun.
Have we?
Perfumes of the animal world, yes.
Are you aware of what perfumes are made out of?
Civet oil.
Yes.
That's the binder for perfumes.
But do you know exactly?
And I don't really know what a civet is, but some sort of like
it's a little ratty looking thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, civets. CIVETS. Civets are very important to the perfume industry.
Yes.
But do you know what part of the civet?
It's some gland.
That's correct.
I'm not sure which.
You don't want to know.
Oh, dear.
It's their anal glands.
Oh, let's mix some anal smell with petunias and throw in a little bit of
Now, if you ever had a
cumin.
dog, you will find out that dogs and other animals...
I don't tend to smell the hindquarters
No, but
of
they
dogs,
do. They
Lynn
have
Cullen.
these anal sacs.
Uh-huh.
And they have to be... I mean, groomers will squeeze them to get...
Well, the
this
only reason I
noxious
know
stuff out of
that
them.
is
But
that's why they're always smelling one another's
Well, I
behinds.
don't... Yes, but anal... It's... I hate to tell you this, ladies. You dab a little of the
A little dabble do ya.
A little dabble do ya from a civet anal sac.
Now, let's get a little bit more specific here. Do they have to kill the civets, or do they just go and sort of milk them?
Well, that I don't know.
If there are any aromatic parfumiers out there, please let us know.
Another very, very important thing that is in a ton of perfumes comes from an excretion from the fat of a sperm whale.
Now, I wonder, why haven't they found synthetic
I don't know.
versions of
I don't
these?
know. But here's what's interesting. You know, take a dog. And anyone who's ever had a dog knows, the dog, what's he doing? They seek out the most noxious smelling things, like a dead animal that they find or something. And they roll around dead fish. My dog always used to somehow find dead fish. And they roll around in it. They roll around in it. So that they smell like a dead fish. They don't smell like a dog.
Is that masking?
But it is masking. And you can ask, since humans have been masking, and we like to doll up our masking,
Yeah, right, sure.
we also are taking on the scents of other animals.
I'm just thinking, imagine a dog going up and saying, like, hey, Poochie Poo,
Yeah.
I put on some dead mackerel today.
I got me some dead mackerel.
Forget Chanel number 5.
And, you know, I also know where you might find a little trove of cat shit. Seriously.
Oh, I didn't know that about dogs. That's interesting.
It says right here in the New York Times, when we use scent, are we equivalent to the dog who rolls in dung? They don't want to say shit.
Well, now, is it really masking, or is it simply that their olfactory glands and that are so powerful that anything that has a potent smell is like the equivalent of catnip to them?
No, I think what they're doing is dogs, by their
Yes.
nature, and cats,
Yes.
are they're hunters,
Yes.
right?
Oh, and you mean that this is a mask? Like
They're
wearing
covering
camouflage?
theirs, yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Because, okay, you're a dog and you're sneaking up on an animal.
It's like, oh, the fish are coming.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry.
right, exactly. Ew, do you smell cat shit? And then they're like, that's how that works. That's how it works. Sorry. So,
You learn marvelous things on the Lynn Cullen
yes,
Show,
you
don't
do.
you?
Yes, you do. And it says we are by no means the only species trying to smell like something else.
Mm-hmm.
And even, this is weird. Get this. There's a caterpillar that when it becomes a butterfly is the very beautiful Zulu blue butterfly of South Africa. But it has learned how to mimic the smell of ants.
Oh,
And now
weird.
listen to this. Who knew ants smelled?
Yes,
well,
right.
and it's the smell that ants use to recognize a fellow ant.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hi, you're one of us. So, the ants, upon smelling this big caterpillar, think, hi, bro. You don't look like you really are.
You're a big one.
Yeah, man. But they actually carry the caterpillar, and ants will carry this caterpillar back into their nest. And then
what do they do with it? Then the caterpillar eats the ants?
Then the caterpillar eats all of them.
Oh, dear. Wow. Talk about strategy.
That's
a Trojan horse almost.
I know. It's a Trojan horse strategy.
Oh, how interesting.
And listen to this. And, okay, let's go back to the plant world. Orchids. So there are orchid species that...
I didn't think orchids had sense.
That are, they say... genuine olfactory deceivers.
Ooh.
So they want to attract wasps and bees to spread their pollen.
Right.
And so orchid species have evolved the shape and coloration of specific female insects, like female wasps and female bees, and also release chemicals that are the same as these female wasps and bees would. And the males, idiots, the males, it says right here, respond at first with clumsy groping around the orchid. And then they proceed to copulating with the orchid. And then they even ejaculate into the orchid.
Jeez.
And some male wasps, it says, actually seem to prefer the scent of the make-believe females.
To the real.
And they will break
My God,
away.
If Chanel could patent that, they'd really sell.
There are many instances where researchers have seen a male wasp interrupt his own sexual dalliance with one of his own kind.
To go
to have sex with a flower.
My God. Call up Chanel, honey. Call up Revlon.
You can't make this stuff up. This is true.
It's fascinating.
It is.
Can I where was this? Oh, it looks like Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
No, that looks like New York Times to me.
Well, let me take this head up to
That's New York Times, and it looks
Today?
like Sunday.
Oh, missed that.
I think I've been
do
carrying
want
it
to read
around.
this.
Isn't that wonderful?
Fascinating.
All right, well, I think that did it for us, whatever that was. So
I'll just have to remember every time I see a dog like rolling in leaves and that, knowing that it's his camouflage.
He just says he's doing what he's got to do. So we all do what we got to do. So thank you very much. Tomorrow, Mr. Potter, as far as I know. And have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.